Welcome to the FNF family. Since our creation, the FNF Construction Company has been on the cutting edge of paving safety standards. Partnering with our builders, our employees are trained beyond required minimums. Safety is more than a word. It's an integral part of the asphalt process. Teaming with our insurance carriers, builders, and trade partners, FNF Construction lives in a culture where safety is paramount.
At FNF Construction, safety is extremely important and an integral part of the construction process. It takes a commitment from all crew members to create and maintain a culture of safe working practices. Accidents can be caused by a number of things such as people taking risk, failure to communicate, poor work habits, drug or alcohol abuse, lack of skill, poor housekeeping, and ignoring safety procedures.
FNF Construction's new safety emphasis is called ZAP. ZAP stands for Zero Accident Program. The senior management of FNF believes that anything other than a goal of zero is unacceptable when it comes to safety. Our first goal really is zero. We don't want anyone to be injured on the job. The more zeros we obtain, the more injuries we will prevent and the safer we will be. All FNF crews will be observed weekly for safe working behaviors. Only you are responsible for the safety of your crew and the equipment around you. Remember, safety starts at home.
The purpose of the Zero Accident Program, or ZAP program, is to better the quality of life for all associated with FNF by creating and adhering to a disciplined safety program. Incorporating safety into every operation requires a high degree of planning and communication. Interestingly, both of these disciplines, advanced planning and communication, when implemented, have proven to yield higher profits, produce better managers, and lower risks. The 4 points are as follows. First, management commitment. Management has vowed to provide the resources necessary to make all phases of construction operations safe and successful. Additionally, and in conjunction with FNF's operating principles and values, management will lead by example in all aspects of safety, quality, and production on every project. Second, action plans or specific programs have been designed to identify job hazards, communicate concerns, find partners in solutions, and implement corrections and adjustments through daily, weekly, and monthly safety discussions. Accountability is tracked in written form through measurable goals. Third, training and education. Both in-house and outsourced training is provided not only for new employees, but also for seasoned employees on a continuous basis. Fourth, employee involvement. Every employee is an active member of the safety team. Therefore, it can truly be said at FNF, safety is an attitude, and safety, quality, and production are our culture.
Employee safety responsibilities. As an employee of FNF Construction, you are responsible for understanding and following your work assignments. If you do not understand your assignments, you are required to ask your supervisor or foreman for further instructions. If you are instructed to work where you feel you are not properly protected or have not been provided the correct safety equipment, you are required to inform your immediate supervisor or foreman to obtain the proper equipment before starting the assignment. You will be warned when in a dangerous situation or environment. It is expected that you will warn others when you are aware of a hazardous situation. You're required to abide by all company safety requirements, rules or codes, and safety-related requirements that may apply to a particular project, including all federal and state safety rules and regulations. Report to work at the start of each shift physically and mentally qualified to perform your duties. If not, you will not be permitted to be on the project site. Refrain from any practical jokes or pranks on other employees while working on any company project. Keep your work area neat and orderly. Safety rules. The first duty of all employees is to observe every precaution to prevent incidents and injuries to themselves and to others. Get full instruction on your work and job hazard analysis before starting your task. Remember to stop, think, observe, plan. STOP. Then act safely. You must comply with appropriate federal, state, and local regulations, company policies and procedures, and the instructions from your field supervisor or foreman. Personal cell phones are not allowed on the job. When you are working on or around the job site or construction yards, always wear an ANSI-approved hard hat and a high visibility vest at all times. All employees shall wear appropriate clothing for work such as long pants, shirts tucked in, loose-fitting, torn clothing, tank tops, or short pants are not permitted. Sturdy construction-type boots above ankle-high are required on all active construction sites. Sneakers, tennis shoes, sandals, or street shoes are prohibited. Possession or use of alcoholic beverages or illegal drugs is prohibited. FNF is a drug-free workplace. Horseplay, fighting, gambling, and possession of firearms are prohibited. Remember to observe all traffic regulations on a job site and parking lots. Know the job site or general work area's emergency procedures. Know where the exits are located and how to get out during an emergency situation. Never block or lock an emergency exit. Sanitation facilities are provided for your use. Don't deface or damage these facilities. Know where the project site's firefighting equipment is located and how to use it. Remember to lift correctly using your legs, not your back. Leg muscles are larger and stronger. If the load is too heavy to lift for you, get assistance. Vehicle safety. Riding on loads, fenders, running board, gates, in the bed of pickup trucks or having legs over the side of a moving vehicle is prohibited. Don't use power tools and equipment until you have been properly instructed in the safe working procedures and have been authorized to operate them. Don't enter a barricaded or roped-off area unless authorized by site management. Never oil, lubricate, or fuel equipment while it is running or in motion. Never throw anything overboard someone might be below and could be seriously injured. Destroying or tampering with safety devices, signage, and signals is prohibited, as is the willful, unnecessary discharge of fire extinguishers. Unauthorized operation of powered construction equipment or mobile vehicles is prohibited. Accidents and injuries. You must notify your supervisor or foreman prior to leaving the job site due to an injury or illness, whether personal or work-related. Promptly report any unsafe acts or hazardous conditions to your supervisor or foreman so that corrective action can be taken quickly. If you have a physical handicap, hearing, diabetes, heart trouble, or hernia, be sure that you have notified your supervisor or foreman before starting work. You are required to comply with the directions of your supervisor concerning medical attention or treatment after an accident or injury. Heavy equipment operations.
Injury accidents involving heavy equipment on construction sites have a higher probability of resulting in a fatality than many other types of accidents. It is critical to follow all safety rules and procedures when operating and working around heavy equipment. Here are common safety rules for operators and ground-based workers to remember. Good communication is essential. Radios or a standardized set of hand signals should be used. Backup warning alarms must be operational and loud enough to be heard by nearby workers. Never jump onto or off the equipment. Always use the three-point contact rule when climbing on and off heavy equipment. Both feet in one hand or 1 foot in both hands. Know how to properly operate the equipment you are using. Use only equipment that is appropriate for the work to be done. Inspect and service your equipment daily. Do not stress or overload your equipment. Do not operate heavy equipment when you are drowsy, intoxicated, or taking prescription drugs. Be aware of underground utilities and overhead power lines. Operators should always know exactly where all ground-based workers are located. Always operate at a safe speed. Seat belts and hard hats must always be worn during equipment operation.
Whether you are the operator of heavy equipment or not, you need to be safe when working around heavy equipment. Remember to always approach a machine so that the operator can see you. Never approach from the operator's blind side. For more information on heavy equipment operations and maintenance safety, see the FNF Safety, Quality, and Production or SQP Manual. Structure and concrete operations.
Safety points to remember while working structures. Never position yourself under overhead loads. Tie off for fall protection at heights of 5 feet or more, or as directed by your supervisor. Wear all required PPE, including eye and ear protection when working with power tools.
Use only OSHA approved scaffolding, handrails, and planking. Keep work areas clear of obstructions and hazards. Use required safety equipment in attire including but not limited to rubber boots, gloves, safety goggles, and glasses, appropriate fall protection systems, hoods for welding or sandblasting, and tag lines. Use extreme caution when working with cranes or other lifting or hoisting equipment. Protect personnel from exposed reinforcing steel. Be alert for changes in weather which may alter operating methods.
Tie-off guide lanyards must be used when moving suspended loads. When using power saws, secure item and cut away from your body. Watch your step, keep work areas and pathways clear. Remove all old nails from scrap lumber before they become a hazard to yourself or a worker. Wet concrete burns. Tape off work boots to keep concrete out during a pour. First aid kits are located in your supervisor's truck.
Underground operations. There may be occasions when you will be working in trenches. Here are some safe practices to perform when working in these. Check for existing underground utilities before beginning operations, blue stake, etc. Trenches over 5 feet deep must be sloped or shored. Maintain a clear area that is a minimum of 2 feet at the top of the trench. Use a spotter for heavy equipment excavations. Use all required safety equipment. Read and obey all OSHA regulations on trenching and backfilling. Respiratory protection. There may be occasions when you will need to use respiratory protective equipment which will be provided for you on an FNF project. Prior to using respiratory protective devices, you must receive a medical evaluation, PFT, and be thoroughly trained in the use and limitation of these devices. Inspect respiratory protective equipment regularly and maintain them in good condition. Site Emergency Action Plan, EAP, Safe Exit. The Emergency Action Plan includes safe exit routes, meeting location after evacuation, head count, and the communication system to notify site personnel. Be sure that you understand the Emergency Action Plan on your job site. If you're unsure what to do in an emergency, ask your foreman or supervisor. Fire protection and prevention. Fire protection is similar to the Emergency Action Plan in terms of evacuation and conducts the emergency safely. Never block, remove, or damage firefighting equipment. Obey all rules, regulations, and signage pertaining to fire safety, such as open fires, smoking rules, or other sources of ignition. Keep all combustible materials away from ignition sources and remove to a safe area or covered with a flame-resistant shield or tarp. Never use gasoline or oxygen to start or increase the intensity of an open fire. Do not use oil or grease on any oxygen equipment. Always notify your supervisor or foreman if you use a fire extinguisher or any other fire protection equipment. Always have fire protection around the area where hot work is taking place. Remember, housekeeping is an important factor in fire protection. Without fuel, a fire will not burn. Housekeeping. You are responsible for your own work area. It must be kept clean, orderly, and cleared of tripping hazards. All debris shall be removed to a safe disposal area. Here are some safe housekeeping practices to keep in mind when on the job site. Place lunch scraps and waste material in the proper containers for disposal. Immediately clean up any spills and inform your supervisor or foreman of the spill. Remove, redrive, or bend any protruding nails. Do not obstruct access to fixed ladders, stairways, electrical switches, or any emergency equipment. Remember, never block an exit. Stack or store all materials in a manner which will prevent the material from falling.